Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start by giving all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rechak, Wadash. Double honor to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect tabernacle of David scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Now, this is what most Christians get wrong. And we've covered this topic, numerous times. It's dealing with the council that they had in Jerusalem when there was a big dissension on, whether the Israelite foreigners would be saved through, circumcision, the keeping of the law. And, they came up with the solution, which was to have the Israelite foreigners, which were being called Gentiles by the circumcision, to basically abstain from fornication, from, blood, from meat offered unto idols, so on and so forth. And within the council, after Peter spoke, you had James, he stepped up and spoke. And he quoted Amos, the 9th chapter, as if at that time they believed that that was the fulfillment of that. And you can see when a lot of people read that, they think that this proves that the Lord really did select some heathens for himself to be a part of his people, and that they were appointed salvation. When that's clearly not the case when you actually read and understand the Bible. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just play it a little bit so you can hear him, this guy here. Some of these Christians, they really think that they're standing firm and they're, dispelling our teachings, and a lot of what they're doing is, when you think about it, like they really think that they're doing the Most High a good service, but all they're doing is kicking against the pricks. They're still binded by that stronghold. They're still under the clasp of Satan, thinking that they are doing the right thing, but they're deceived. So anyway, without further ado, let's just listen real quick.
It's his turn. He was a Christian too. Listen to what he says. He sounds like a Christian today. Not these false teachers trying to keep people under a yoke they can't handle. Starting with verse 14 to 15, James says, Simeon has declared how God at the first did visit the Gentiles to take out of them a people for his name. And to this agree the words of the prophets. As it is written, Simon Peter is saying, God has called people from the Gentiles to believe in him. The Old Testament agrees with this. This isn't some new invention. The Bible has been saying this from the beginning. James quotes Amos, one of the prophets from the Old Testament, and explains it. After this, I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down. And I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up, that the residue of men might seek after the Lord, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, says the Lord, who does these things. Known unto God are all his works from the beginning of the world. David's kingdom will get restored. That's through Christ as the King of Israel. This is why Jesus went around preaching the kingdom of God is at hand, is here. And that's why the residue of men and all the Gentiles called by God's name will come to him. That quotation is talking about real Gentiles too.
All right, so you heard him. And this, like I said, this is what most Christians get wrong. They think that that's talking about actual heathens that the Lord picked out for himself and chose to place his name upon them so that they could be appointed to salvation. James misspoke, because one, during that time, all you had throughout the known world at the time was the scattering of Judah. Where were the other tribes at? Under the throne of David, you had all 12 tribes that were gathered unto him. Let's prove that real quick. Let's go to 2 Samuel 3. Yeah, 2 Samuel 3, and I'll start at verse 9. The point is at verse 10. It says, so do the Most High God to Abner, and more also, except as the Lord have sworn to David, even so I do to him, to translate the kingdom from the house of Saul, and to set up the throne of David over Israel and over Judah, from Dan even to Beersheba. All right, so both the northern kingdom as well as the southern kingdom, Israel and Judah were together under the throne of David. All right, they made up the tabernacle of David, his army. You didn't have that then during the time of the Acts of the Apostles. Okay, they went to the dispersed. There was a diaspora all throughout Asia Minor and different other parts of the known world that needed to be recovered. So the gospel was being preached in all those different places to gather the dispersed. But you still had a big portion of well, you had a small portion of the northern kingdom that was still around, but the majority of them, they were exiled. All right, they were left. They were brought basically to this side of the world, centuries before the Lord even came on the scene. All right, they came to the uttermost part of the earth. So, when was that going to happen? When the Lord was going to have the gospel, preached to the ends of the world, where even the northern tribes would be able to receive the gospel. Because there was going to be a point in time when Israel, once they were exiled, once they were no longer in the land, they were no longer considered a people. But now that we see in these times, Jacob, coming back to their heritage, now it's being said to them that they are the people. All right, Hosea 1:10, it says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it said unto them, you are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, you are the sons of the living power. And that's when we were going to, call ourselves or name ourselves after of Israel. Isaiah 44 in verse 5, it says, one day say, I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord and surname himself by the name of Israel. So there's going to be a point in time when our people were going to start to name themselves after identifying who they are, all right, through hearing this gospel. And now, we're going back to our true name, which we're the Israelites. All right, and guess what? Going back to the prophecy in Amos is Amos 9 and 11. It's talking about the restoration of Israel. It says, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. Right? That they may possess the remnant of Edom and all of the heathen, which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this. And this is how you know that James misspoke, because nowhere in this verse did the Lord say that he was going to call out some Gentiles for his name, that they could be saved. That nothing about that was mentioned in this verse. This is strictly saying that the Lord's going to bring back Israel and regather them as in the days of old, like as if David was still on the throne. All right. Because when David was on the throne, we had all the nations subdued. They were literally a possession. All right. Like, for example, when David, when he conquered all these nations, he put them in subjection. There's 2 Samuel 22. Let me jump down. There's 2 Samuel 22, and I'm going to start at verse 38. And it says, I have pursued my enemies. And who are the enemies of Israel? The heathen nations. And destroyed them and turned not again until I had consumed them. And I have consumed them and wounded them that they could not rise. Yeah, they are fallen under my feet. Just like when the Lord comes back and to judge and make war, he's going to put the nations under his feet, just as the nations was under David's feet. So read Psalms 110. It says, for thou hast girded me with strength to battle. Them that rose up against me, thou hast subdued under me. Thou hast also given me the necks of mine enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me. They looked, but there was none to save, even unto the Lord, but he answered them not. Then did I beat them as small as the dust of the earth. And guess what? Israel's going to do that again, just as David did, all right, when he subdued these other nations, taking out their armies in all these different battles. Let's read this real quick. Micah 4:13. This is what Israel is going to do under our Lord. It says, arise and thresh, Micah 4:13. O daughter of Zion, for I will make thine horn iron, and I will make thy hoofs brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many people. And I will consecrate their gain unto the Lord, and their substance unto the Lord of the whole earth. So they're going to be beat to dust. And we're going to basically consecrate their riches. That's how the gates of Jerusalem are going to be open continually for the real Gentiles to bring in their forces. All right. We're going to bring in the milk of the Gentiles, which is their riches. All right. That's what happened under David. Yeah, I never want to talk about what happened during the reign of King David and why there was peace for 40 years under the reign of Solomon, because these nations got subdued. They all had to serve David. All right. And guess what? That has not happened since the time of David and Solomon. So continuing on back here, as a matter of fact, let me go to another script. Let's go to Psalms 60. Because David, he was triumphant over taking them down. Psalm 60 and verse Psalm 60, and I'll start at verse 7. It says, Gilead is mine, and Manasseh is mine. Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast my shoe. Philistia, triumph thou because of me. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? So here he's boasting that, Moab is basically my servant, and Edom, I pretty much possess Edom. Edom is a possession. That's pretty much what he's saying right here. When he says, I will cast out my shoe. You look up the word shoe. The word is nial. And it says a sandal tongue, by extension, a sandal or slipper, sometimes as a symbol of occupancy. All right. Like basically, I'm gonna put my shoe right there. Hey, that means that I pretty much I own it. Okay. You go down here to the Hebrew Chaldee lexicon. It says down here, Psalm 60, upon Edom will I cast down my shoe, i.e., I will take possession of it. I will claim it as my own. So this is what he was boasting about. Because you best to believe he put garrisons in these lands. So he did occupy their land. Just like how America, wherever they put embassies at, they occupying these other foreign lands. Okay? And they pissing everybody off. So now a lot of the embassies and bases are not safe anymore. But in America's heyday, when they had all this respect, hey, they did what they wanted because they were in power, and they took possession. They occupied in these other lands. So David, in his time, he was powerful, and there was nothing that the nation can do against David, because the Most High, Yahweh Shemel Shai, was with David, and he had all the tribes up under him. He said, Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine, Ephraim is also the strength of my head, Judah is my lawgiver. So the tribes were together under David. And in the kingdom, David's going to be our king again. And we're going to be together. Ezekiel 37. In 24 it says, and David my servant shall be king over them, and they shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they and their children and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them, and it shall be an everlasting covenant with them, and I will place them and multiply them, and I will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yeah, I will be their God, and they shall be my people. No mention of no other nations in this. Okay? And the tabernacle of the Most High is going to be with us, and you can read that also in Revelation 21. His presence is going to be amongst his people. You telling me that there's going to be heathens who at one point in time the Lord said should never be able to enter into the sanctuary? They should never be able to come into the tabernacle of the congregation? No, man. There's still going to be an outer court. These nations are not allowed. They will not be a part of the Lord's house. That's you slave-minded Christians that want everybody to be accepted. It says, and the heathen shall know that I am the Lord, do sanctify Israel, where my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. So we know that Amos is talking about in the latter days in the kingdom. All right, and right before the kingdom is actually established, the Lord's going to bring the tribes together through the word being preached, the gospel. All right. And I mean, there's several precepts on that. We're going to be gathered together from the east to the west. All right. By the word of the Holy One. And that's how, the Lord is breaking down, that middle wall partition between us. All right. That breach that was broken is now being restored. Because we know that there was a point in time when the brotherhood of Israel was broken. Yeah, Zechariah 11:14, it says, then I cut asunder mine other staff, even bands, that I might break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. But now it's being brought back, all right, through the preaching of his word. Because we know in Ezekiel 37, the Lord said that he would pour his breath upon us so that we could become living souls. We regained our our flesh, our sinews, and then he put the breath back into us. And right after that, the Lord brought together what? Judah and Joseph, which is a stick of Ephraim, and joined them together. We became one stick, and that's what these Christians don't understand, and that's why they like to try to sabotage the 12 tribe sign that we have, because they don't want us to come together. All right, but the Lord, he's bringing us back together because he's restoring the tabernacle of David that was fallen and ruined. Okay, now you got men out there that are a part of that highway that is bringing Israel back to the path. Isaiah, was it 58 and 13? Not 13. Where's it at? Isaiah 58 and 12. It says, "And they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places. Thou shalt raise up the foundations of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of paths to dwell in." All right, and that's us preaching His word, and Israel coming together. All right, and also it says that they may possess the remnant of Edom and all of the heathen, which are called by my name. When have the actual Gentiles ever been called by the Lord's name? Now I can show you different instances when the Lord said that He would put His name upon Israel. Genesis 48 and verse Genesis 48, and I'll start at verse 13. It says, "And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand towards Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his right hand, and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. And he blessed Joseph and said, The Most High Elohim, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the Most High which fed me all my life long unto this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth." So you see that Israel became a great multitude through the seed of Abraham and Isaac and down to Jacob. That was the people who the Lord's gonna not only choose but bestow His name upon. It's Isaiah 45 and verse 4. And it says, "For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect, I have called thee by thy name, I have surnamed thee, thou that hast not known me." All right. So here's another precept where Israel is mentioned as not only as elect, but also being called by His name. Where do you find that with the heathen nations? He's never done that. Isaiah 43 and 1. But now, thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, He that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. This is real easy, man. All right, and I forgot to even bring this out. All right, finishing going into this back in 2 Samuel, right? Verse 24. 2 Samuel 22 and 44. I'm all over the place, but these scriptures all just, coming to mind. It says, thou also have delivered me from the strivings of my people. Thou hast kept me to be the head of the heathen, a people which I knew not shall serve me. And that's what happened under the throne of David. All the nations served Israel, all right, in the throne of David. Let's go back to Amos 9 again. And at that time, the nations were a possession, and they're going to be a possession again. Okay? That they may possess the remnant of Edom and all the heathen which are called by my name. So when you read it in this actual context, he's basically saying that they which are called by my name may possess the remnant and all the heathen. That's how to read that correctly. All right, this is not saying that the heathen are going to be called by his name and they're going to be separated and they're going to be the Lord's people and they're going to serve together in the kingdom with the Lord's. No, man. They that are called by the Lord's name, they're going to possess the remnant of Edom and all the heathen, because even the land of Edom is going to be a possession, just like it was during the time of David. Okay. And even in the second Psalm, he said, ask of me and I will give you a heathen for thine inheritance. Psalms 2 and 7. I will declare the decree, the Lord hath said unto me, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Ask of me and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. So their lands are going to be a possession as well. We're going to occupy all that. And we're going to rule over these nations with a rod of iron. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Like King David said, I beat them as small as the dust. This is how we're going to reign supreme over them, by taking the kingdom. Okay? This is what our Lord Yahushua is going to do. This has not happened yet. This hasn't occurred. So this is why we say James misspoke. And these nations were not called by the Lord's name. So you can't even get it through your mind that that's pertaining to them, that they're not going to possess anything in our kingdom. Isaiah 63 and 19, and it says, I'll start at 18. It says, the people of thy holiness have possessed it, but a little while our adversaries have trodden down thy sanctuary. We are thine. Thou never bearest rule over them. They were not called by thy name. The heathens were never called by the Lord's name. All right. So this is, and I went around in the Psalms and in the prophets. They were not wrong. So James, even though he was he was in the right place, but he misspoke. All right. So the Gentiles, the actual Gentiles, know that they're not going to receive any type of special inheritance where they're going to be possessing and ruling. And nah, man, they're going to be up under us. They're not a part of the tabernacle of David that was ruined. The nations came together to help destroy Jerusalem, destroy Israel after the splitting of the kingdom. They came and took down our temple. And they were trying to hinder us from building our temple. And now, the temple is spiritual now, so we're building together by coming together up under the gospel. This is the very people that you're fighting against. That's the tabernacle that's being built, which is also the church. You're actually coming against the tabernacle of David. All right, so that's And there's more I can go into, but for the sake of time, I'm gonna cut it short. All right, but this guy, he's totally wrong, and he stay making videos going off, thinking that he's confounding the Israelites. All right, you Christians, man. It's like the Spirit has us loading up on you Christians right now. Yeah, easy work, but it keeps us sharpened. But anyway, I'm enough with that. I'm gonna give all praise to Yahweh Shem Shai. Until the next one, Shalom.